Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon of the Chabad House of Delmer, together with my co-host Mark Ronich of jbiztechvalley.com and Statewide News Service.
Well, Rabbi, we have another elected official on our show. We want to, round out the whole, give everyone a chance to be on the program. So Bruce Hidley, who's the newly elected Albany County Clerk, been in office less than a year. And we want to welcome you to the Jewish View. We had your predecessor on, Tom Klingen, at one point. So, hopefully we'll get a fresh view of what the county clerk's office does.
I hope so, Rabbi. I hope so, Mark.
And welcome to the Jewish View.
It's a pleasure to be on the Jewish View with you today. It's actually an honor for me. I'm very happy to be here.
Just to start from the start, what is the Albany Clerk? What's your job? I mean, what are you in charge of? I mean, I'm just a regular citizen asking that.
And how much do they
And
pay?
it's a very good question because a lot of people really don't know what the Albany County Clerk's office does.
Right.
And actually, as the Albany County Clerk, I have two agencies that I work with. One is the actual Albany County Clerk's office on 16 Eagle Street, and the other is the Albany County Hall of Records, which is located at 95 Tivoli Street in Albany. Now, each department is different. The Albany County Clerk's office handles all the court records, land records, mortgages, deeds, and all kinds of records like that. We're on the other side of the spectrum at the Albany County Hall of Records, and I'm very proud to announce this, by the way. We are the only joint records management program in the state of New York with the city of Albany. And we have a total of 104,000 cubic foot of records that we can hold in that facility. And right now we're at 98,000 cubic foot of records, so we're almost at a point of full capacity there.
What are you going to do then?
Actually, that's a very good question. Thank you. We are right now in the process of bonding $1.85 million to do an expansion project right on the very location on the property that Albany County owns. We took a good look at other locations. We went to other buildings. We checked it out, and the best feasible way to save the county taxpayers' money was to build it right where it is now.
And are you expanding just on the same level, or are you going up? Are you growing up?
No, we're going to go up. We're going to make this expansion so that we can hold 60,000 cubic foot more records. We're also going to build it so that we can have tractor trailer trucks come in, because most of you probably don't know this, but we have to destroy the records when they're eligible for destruction. That's done through the New York State Education Department. They have a records management program that we follow. Some records have to be kept permanently. Other records are kept for 5, 6, 7 years, 25 years. So what we do is we monitor exactly when these records can be destroyed. We pull them off the shelves, put them on pallets, and then we have a destruction company come in and take those records and destroy them for us. So what with this new expansion project now, instead of the employees having to pick the records up and bringing them down to a truck, the truck is going to be able to pull right in, and we're going to be able to put that information right into the truck.
And this is for the Hall of Records?
That's correct.
Now, how many floors is the Hall of Records now?
It's one floor.
One floor. So you're building a second floor?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and that's going to take how long? And, also the foundation, I'm not sure the foundation was built to sustain another floor. I mean, I know sometimes buildings have to be...
when I say another floor, what I mean is we're going to allow the Hall of Records to go higher in capacity than what we have right now, in accordance with OSHA regulations. Now,
right, but I'm talking about the weight when you build up.
Yeah, we're actually,
the weight of the building.
We will have to do some work for the expansion as far as
the foundation,
being able to
shoring up the foundation.
Yes, exactly.
Because people, when they
it's
built
a big
that,
job.
did not expect to
That's
have
why
a
I have
second floor.
engineers.
That's right. Okay.
But, if someone wanted to look something up, are you computerized? Maybe from home on a computer to look up somebody's grandmother's death certificate or something.
Well, to be honest with you, the Albany County Clerk's Hall office does not handle death, birth, and marriage records.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's a question that's asked quite often from constituents that want to come into the office. I need a death record for my grandfather or something.
That's the Department of Health, County Health.
Well, what we do is we send them to the City, Town, and Village Registrar of Vital Statistics, and they can look it up there. And if they're not successful at that point, then we send them to the New York State Department of Health. Oh. Now, I was the Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics for 22 and a half years for the City of Watervliet. So I'm very familiar with that process, and that's why it's easier for me to direct them in the right direction.
Wow. And do you get a lot of requests for birth
We
and
do.
death
Actually, we
records?
do. I had one yesterday, as a matter of fact.
That's what I was always thinking. I also would think that, you'd be in charge of records, Albany County Clerk.
Would you prefer to be that it's under one roof, that it's under the county clerk's roof?
No, we do handle divorce records, though.
Okay.
That is the one item that we do have. When somebody needs a divorce decree, to get remarried or something, they do have to come down to the Albany County Clerk's office. But as it stands right now, the procedures that are in place with the New York State Department of Health in our city, towns, and villages are working very well.
Yeah, but could they work better if it was all under one roof?
I guess, Mark, everything could work better at some point.
Efficiencies in government is what the governor
Well,
was
shared
talking
service
about,
is
so-
a very important program,
Yeah.
and we all know that in governmental business. And I'm sure that's going to be a trek that will take somewhere down the line. It hasn't been reached yet, but we'll get to that.
It's not a
at some
territory thing for the towns, cities,
No,
and
it's
villages,
not.
is it?
No.
Might they be happy to give
point.
this
Yes,
up?
I think so. Absolutely.
So, maybe this is something that you could undertake, and then, are they all electronic in all the towns, villages, and cities?
I can't answer that question.
Yeah, because you
I'm
would
not
make it
really
all
sure.
electronic, I'm sure.
Yes, I
in this
would.
day and age, digital age.
Well, actually, we're going to put in, the New York State Education Department has a grant program. Every county clerk in the state of New York gives every month so much money to the New York State Education Department specifically for grant funding programs. And in 2015, Albany County is going to be applying for a records management grant. That's going to be an electronics records management grant.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to ask for probably around $364,000 from the state education
To
department
computerize everything?
to electronically manage everything. Yes, it's for me. It's really exciting because of the fact that it will take us up another step in Albany County when it comes to electronic management and doing things electronically. In the county clerk's office itself, we are looking to vendors right now that will allow us to have attorneys that deal with mortgages and deeds to be able to purchase them online from home. They don't even have to come
Or their
in.
office, yeah.
Yeah, they can set up an account and they can do it all online at home. They don't even have to come down to downtown Albany.
Not that you wouldn't want to see them anyway.
No, I love seeing the attorneys.
But it's, I've been to those records, and, when you try to get a deed and a mortgage, or, try to get the records, the Libra, L-I-B-R-E,
Yes.
right? Then you have to have the Libra number. It's dusty. It's
Well, you have to remember, Mark,
handling a lot of.
we have records back from 1600s of deeds and mortgages and
Really?
land acquisitions in Albany County, yes.
Now, I'll tell you, there was some of those records from the 1600s belonged to some Jewish landowners.
That's a correct statement, and some of the information I have in here actually tells a story of a Jewish immigrant that came over to Albany County, started a business and bought a lot of property here and settled right here in Albany County.
And the
So,
name is?
Off the top of my head, I'm
Okay.
not sure.
You want to check?
I can do that.
Okay.
But, last year in the Albany County Hall of Records, this year at the Albany County Hall of Records, we've had 1,200 people that are researchers that have come in to take a look at their family histories. And as far as the Jewish population goes, we have a multitude amount of records available to them, directories from 1830 to current, where they can look up their family names, their family history, research it. Another thing the Albany County Clerk's Office does is naturalization records. We perform the ceremonies here in Albany County.
Really? I thought it was a federal, there would be.
Well, the Federal
international.
Immigration Bureau is involved in it, but we actually do the administration of the oath of office. A Supreme Court judge does that.
So do you have
I
a-
am there to witness the actual oath of office being administered to all the new citizens that are coming into the United States
So do you
of
have an
America.
opinion about the immigration reform?
No, I
No,
really don't.
okay. Just thought I'd tease you on that one. All right, let me
If
ask
you
you
have more
this.
business over here, everybody would start coming.
There
over.
was
But
a-
as far as the
Yeah.
naturalization records
Yes.
go, it helps the Jewish immigrants to learn their history of how their families came here to Albany County.
Okay.
It's a really great resource and a really great tool for them to use. And I encourage anybody to please come down to the Albany County Hall of Records at any time. We have a great staff. They love helping people. Their whole part of being there is because they love history.
So let me ask you some personal questions, and I have a story to tell you about the Jewish immigrants. How old are you?
I am 56.
56. And how much do you get paid?
106,000 a year.
106,000.
Yes.
Is that enough for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's more than a state legislator. And what about your, so 56, so you could be in this position 20 years. I know you get a 4-year contract from the voters.
I did.
But you can, but you know, you
And
really,
hopefully I'll get another one when the time comes.
you could be 20, you could be here 20 years.
I could, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Given
no
good
question
health,
about
yes,
that.
yes.
Given
So-
good health.
Okay, and we always hope for you to have good health.
Thank you.
And what about well, I think the reason I mentioned that your age is because you're at a different generation than your predecessor, and you have more of an idea of the electronic end of things and the more digital end of things. You know, you were part of the beginning of that generation. So
That's correct.
Yeah, and your predecessor was. I knew him, well, I knew of him when he was working at the AM radio station at SUNY Albany,
Yes.
and he used to splice the tape and all that
Exactly.
stuff. So, it's a different generation than today when you do digital editing and radio.
But I got to
it's
tell you
just-
though, microfilm is still a big part of the Albany County Hall of Records and the Albany County Clerk's office. We still have, I think we have 8 machines in the Albany County Hall of Records, and we have 4 at the Albany County Clerk's office, where the researchers still come in, and when they want to go back to the early 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, they still use that microfilm.
So what's microfiche? Is that different from microfilm?
It is. It
Okay,
is.
so what's microfiche?
Microfiche is actually is a document that we keep as a spare. Microfilm is the one that we use on a daily basis.
Okay.
Microfiche is something that if the film wears out, we can go back to that microfiche and pull that up and not lose the documentation or the record.
Okay, that's good.
But with the
I'm glad-
microfilm, so are you going to, that's part of the grant to digitize it, or are you gonna?
That's
Like
correct.
that's old technology?
Well, then you
Yes.
should need less room.
That means we're going to need less room. That's correct.
So you may not need the addition.
Well,
I know, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you a quick story. When I went and wrote a brief history of Orthodox Judaism in Albany and how we got to where we are now with the synagogues being in the southeast corner of the city
Yes.
and all that. But there was a gentleman, Asser Levy, who wanted to escape Peter Stuyvesant from New York, in his reign in New York City when it was when New York City was called New Amsterdam. So he came. He was like a trader, not Traitor, but he was like a Trader. So he came up the Hudson and he settled here, and he bought some of the first property
okay.
in Albany, and that was in the 1600s, 1630s. And then he wanted a minion, which was a group of 10 men above
Quorum.
13.
Quorum.
A what?
A quorum.
A quorum,
All right,
but
yeah,
the 10 men
Yeah.
that you have so you could pray together and read from the Torah and do other religious things, services and ceremonies. So he came up here and he actually started the first minyan of 10 adult Jewish men here in Albany, way back before when the Dutch was still here, and this was still Fort Orange.
I think I actually have that story with me, to be honest with you. That was
Okay.
one of the documents
yeah.
that I brought with me.
Well, that's
that
some
had
of my
a-
best story because
that had a little
Asser
story
Levy
behind it.
Asser Levy is really forgotten about in the city, and
A lot of the papers and history files that we have include the study of the Jewish immigration and residence patterns in Albany County.
Who wrote that?
That was Saul Goldberg. I'm sorry,
It's
Saul
very
Goldenberg.
interesting. This is incredible to me because I like history, but you would never think, I'm talking to the Albany County Clerk, that we're going to get a museum and a history lesson. Where would you, I would think, oh yeah, I'm going to look up the history of Albany
Well,
Jewry, let's go
what's
to the
your
county
background?
clerk.
What's your ethnic background?
I am Irish and German,
Okay, so that's
Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
right,
wondering. So that's
Yeah.
just wondering if there's, because like Rabbi was saying, we're all a melting pot.
That's correct.
And we're all together, so that's why I wanted to just.
Well, my little community in Watervliet is Irish, German, Russian Orthodox. There's, like you said, a little melting pot of
Cohoes
everybody.
had a large Jewish community at one point, like the 1960s, but they have since, gone away. They moved to Albany, and the Jewish community's not there anymore. So, but
Well, some
Watervliet
of
never
the-
had a Jewish community.
No, not that I'm aware of.
That's what it says say, yeah.
So some of the other papers that we have in our history files, the basic history of the Jewish in Albany, Jewish immigration and residence patterns in Albany, urban ethnic dispersal in American cities, the example of the Jews of the south end of Albany between 1876 and 1939, and that was by Thomas G. Martin. The Jewish in Albany, New York by Louis Silver. And
These are papers? Or
these are all papers that we have on file that can be reviewed. Not only if you want to do them by paper, we also have them on CDs.
That's great.
Interesting, yeah, it's
Now,
incredible.
the other thing is
I'll have to get a copy
we
of
also
the CD.
we encourage as many people to visit the Albany County Hall of Records as possible. We will actually schedule tours for people to come in and see the entire facility itself. And what we've done in the past is we've done displays for African American Month, for Irish Month. We'd be more than happy to do that for the Jewish community at any time.
That would be wonderful. You know,
Incredible,
there was something at the Times Union Center about a year or so ago that the county executive put on, and the county clerk's office had a booth there, and it was to display, I think, the products from around the county. And I went there for that.
That's correct. I was there also.
And I saw the head of the Hall of Records. What's his name?
Craig Carlson.
I believe Carlson rings the bell. Yeah, and I asked him. I said, "Well, could you pull something together for the Jewish community?" He goes, "Well, you can come in and we could charge you, and you know, we're a profit-making business, and you know, we really, you know, we wouldn't do it for you."
Well, I'm here to tell you that we'll bring that display and set it up for you at any Jewish event you have.
Okay,
Not a problem at all.
So thank you for that.
And I'd be proud to do that.
Yes. So I just thought I'd tell you that, you know, and I said, well, we'd like for you to gather and we'll have you on the show. And he says, well, you know, we're very busy. We have a lot to do. We have, I just thought I'd, you know, just share that story with you in a fun way, not in a, you know, not in a negative way, just in a fun way.
Good.
So thank you, and I will reach out to you in the future.
I would
and we
appreciate
will
if you would do that. Yeah.
We will do something probably at the Albany Jewish Community Center.
That would be great. We
Yeah.
would love to do that.
That'd be wonderful.
I grew up in Albany, not too far from the JCC, so I'm very familiar with the
really?
Albany Jewish Community Center.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, where they are now on Whitehall Road? Or
Yeah,
where they
I grew
were?
up off of
Okay.
Delaware Avenue in Albany.
Okay.
I graduated from Cardinal McCluskey High School, so I'm very familiar with that whole area over there.
Beautiful. Well, we'll have you come back.
I would love to do that.
So
Thank you.
what else what other pearls of wisdom and trivia have you found for us?
Well, I mean, you asked me a little bit about what the county clerk's office does.
Yeah.
We are also the keeper of all the notary public records. They come in and file their notary publics with us, and we send them to the Department of State, who in turn sends them to their notary public cards with their expiration dates on it, or new ones if that may be the case. We also, I talked a little bit about mortgages and deeds. We talked a little bit about electronically. Well, I just implemented a new RP 5217 program, which is the actual deeds that come in. We now scan them in, okay? There's no more 4-page copies. They scan them in, and it goes directly to the Albany County Real Property Tax Office, and from there, directly to the New York State Real Property Tax Office, and now the assessors get them all electronically. No more
Wow.
paper.
And that makes it more accurate. Doesn't
It does.
Doesn't it make
It does.
heightens
And
the
I'll tell you why
accuracy?
it makes it more accurate, because what happens now is when we scan those RP 5217s into the system, it'll bring up a red flag if there's something missing or if something needs to be added to it. And then we're able to get that information on the computer immediately, and there's no delay at all getting it implemented.
Now, what's the? I was fascinated when we had your predecessor Tom Klingen on that you're the only county agency that gives money back to the county. You remember that?
Yeah.
Well,
It was
we
$1 million,
generate,
yeah.
we generate $30 million in revenue for the Albany County Clerk's Office. Now, of course, that money is dispersed amongst CDTA, state agencies, city, towns, and villages throughout Albany County. But in the end, when we finally complete our monetary disbursements, we have about $400,000 left in the coffers that we give back to the Albany County Finance Department.
And were you picking up this money, the mortgage fee, tax fees?
Correct,
I guess, right?
correct.
And if it's a slow real estate economy,
Which it has been this year. We actually did a survey amongst all the New York State county clerks, and we are down 10 to 30%
Really?
in mortgage tax revenue this year.
Well, and that shows because I think Tom Klingon said he gives almost $1 million back.
Yeah,
to
that's
the
how much it's
county.
gone down.
Wow.
Why is the real estate down in Albany County?
That's, you know, that's a good question, and we have title searchers that work directly in my office, and they seem so busy all the time, and yet we're just not seeing the revenue. But they claim that sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years after, you know, they do their title search before the sale of the property is actually done.
Uh-huh.
And I think one of the largest ones we've had so far this year was the project in the town of Colony, and the new Latham Circle Mall it was before.
Yeah.
They sold that property, and that all that mortgage tax money came in. So, you know, sometimes, and you know, cities like Watervliet, there's not a lot of development. Cohoes, there's not a lot of development anymore.
Well, you had the Price Chopper where they took the church down. And
They took
built
the church
Price
down
Chopper.
there. Yep.
So that brought it onto the tax roll.
Yes, it
right?
did.
Because the church was
Yes,
tax
it did.
exempt.
Absolutely. Yep.
So had a little bit.
It adds a little bit, yes it does. So, you know, yes, we do generate money for Albany County, and that helps the county. This year, Albany County Executive Dan McCoy has already announced that we have a 0% tax increase, and part of the revenue that we generate and give to the county finance department helps that out.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, that's, you know, I'm just amazed at how many balls you have juggling in the air.
We haven't
at
gotten
one
to
time.
all of them yet, though.
Well, tell me
Yeah,
more.
tell us more.
Well, the other thing that we do in the Albany County Clerk's office is pistol permits.
That's right. I know Frank Moroli, your counterpart in Rensselaer County, is nothing too happy with this.
Well, I can't speak for Frank,
I
but
know, but-
Frank is a very good friend of mine.
But you must have talked.
Oh, yeah.
You know, once you're talking about that, just,
Well, the SAFE Act comes into mind.
well, the SAFE Act, but still, people, you know, a few people in my congregation, you know, they felt whatever, the Jewish communities around the world, they wanted to be, talk about being safe, you know, safe, on the other hand, have pistol, and they said, they were complaining that they had to wait a few years just to get a permit.
Well, here's what happens. When somebody wants to put a new pistol permit application, it comes directly to my office. We process it into our records, and you know, it has to go to a sheriff's department, or it goes to the local city, town, or village police department, and they do the background check and the fingerprints. And then, you know, when all that is completed, it does come back to my office. When we get it input into our database, we bring it over to the Supreme Court, who has a wheel, and that wheel will determine which judge gets the pistol permit application.
The New York State Supreme Court.
That's
Okay,
no, it's
not-
the Albany County Supreme Court.
Albany County State Supreme Court of Albany County.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. So and what do you mean they have a wheel? Because there are so
Well,
many judges. Or?
yes,
So
what they want to
is
do
it literally a wheel?
I don't know if that's the case. I never asked Charlie Diamond that actually, but he calls it a wheel.
He calls it a wheel. Okay.
And a different judge is assigned as the new cases come in. And your point was that you hear from a lot of people that it takes a lot of time. It does take some time, and that's very unfortunate. But you know, these judges are very busy with their own caseloads
Right,
that they're working on a daily basis. And sometimes the pistol permits, when they hit their desk, it takes until after a case is completed before they actually start getting into the meat and potatoes of the pistol permit.
But the judge himself doesn't do it. I mean, it's the clerk.
No, the judge does do it, because now they bring the applicant right to the judge, and he has to, you know, if there's any questions the judge has, it has to be answered by the individual.
So someone who's filing a pistol permit eventually has to go see a Supreme Court judge
Yes,
personally.
yes,
Look him in the eye. Tell
yes.
him I'm sane.
But there's also city court judges that handle it too.
Like Rachel Kretzer.
Yes.
We had her on the show.
Oh, you
That's
did?
right,
Okay,
yes.
great.
And Leslie Stein was on the show. too.
So, you know, to answer
So-
your question, yes, it does take some time, and usually
Because they were complaining.
But
to
is
me
it a
about
way-
yeah, and I believe me, I field those complaints all the time.
Do you have a pistol permit?
I do not.
Okay, I don't either.
I do not. No. I've never hunted or anything, so it's not something that I carry.
Now that you're the county clerk, you don't feel for your safety is in jeopardy or anything?
I have a great sheriff by the name of Craig Apple, who is the best safety guy you could have. He keeps an eye on my back for me.
Do you know there's more pistols? It's interesting, even to statistics. Do you know if there are more applications? You know, maybe the world's getting a little bit more unsafe, and you have the before you're done, World Trade Center, before you were a clerk.
Well-
You know, people are getting a little scared. That's a little bit, you know, these terrorism around the world. So people, I mean, you know, I say I'm 29, but I'm kind of your age, and you know, in the olden time, no one thought of that. You know, hey, America, we're safe. What are you talking
Right.
about? And now, you know, 10 years after World Trade Center, 10, 15 years ago now, you know, people are feeling a little bit insecure.
Well, a section in the Penal Law 400-5 requires now that, through the SAFE Act, that requires recertification of pistols. Now, you know, there's been a lot of feedback about that. People aren't really happy that they have to recertify their pistols every 5 years, but it is the law, and you know, I have to abide by that law.
Absolutely.
The recertifications have to be done by January of 2018. We are going to begin the recertification process very shortly, statewide. There will be 3 counties that are going to participate in a pilot program, and Albany County will be one of them.
Wow.
And we're doing that for a reason, because this is being handled by the New York State Police, and the New York State Police really want to try to get the kinks out of whatever the problems may be. The forms have been developed and they're there. We're going to take a look at them together, and we're going to go through it and look at it. We're going to send 500 recertifications out, strictly volunteer now. You do not have to participate if you do not wish in the pilot program. But the pilot program will help us out when it comes to the time when the recertification becomes a law and you must do it.
Because you want to get the kinks out. So
Yeah.
this is the time to make the
And
quote,
you know,
whatever mistakes
I
you
gotta
might
tell
make.
you, Mark, we
whatever.
have a ton of files in our office
Right.
for the pistol permits, and what we're hoping is that we're going to find out, you know, some of these files, they're deceased now, you know, they're not alive, but yet their pistol permit application is still there.
Wow.
Maybe they don't own those pistols anymore
Right.
that are on the file that we have. And
Well, that's good to clean house like that.
the state police will issue them a plastic card for the recertification. Now, even though they have a pistol permit, that recertification card is going to be required to be carried by them also.
This is a new law.
This is the new
something-
SAFE
Yeah.
Act law, yes.
And this is starting to take effect this in 2015,
It will with the pilot program, yes.
and then 2016 for everyone.
I'm not sure the exact date when the state police is going to begin their program with the rest of the counties, but I know it's not far behind.
So are you eager to be part of the pilot program, or is it just another headache for you?
No, I'm very eager. I'm very excited about it, actually, because you know, once again, it's a shared service program. We're helping the state police. They're helping us by, you know, weeding out the old files that we may not have any, you know, that may not be around anymore. So yeah, I'm excited about working with it.
You know, so you're not, so you don't weed out these applications. How many applications you said you have on file? 500?
Oh no, there's much more than that.
How many?
There's probably like 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
And how many? And
Yeah,
you
500. The 500 number is the amount that's going to go out for the pilot.
for the
program.
pilot program.
And
But you have
5,000
about
for new, 5,000?
No, he has 5,000. There are 5,000 people in Albany County with gun permits.
Yes.
And and you don't go around and check every so often to see if these people have died or whatever. you know?
No, the only time, you know, unless the family lets us know that there's a
Really,
deceased
you're very
member
passive about that.
with a gun. You know, either that or they turn them into their local police department.
And does the local police
They
department
let
let
us
you
know then. Yeah.
Okay.
But then we
But-
purge it.
But you don't check the obits every day and see and compare them to the, well, maybe if it was electronic, maybe you'd be able to compare the obits.
Someday we might be able to do that, but
Yeah.
we feel that the recertification program will take care of that problem.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
there'll be a turnover.
Nothing like
Yeah.
being electronic and being digital.
Yes.
It really makes more efficiency and
Yes.
brings these issues
It
together.
has.
Is
I'm
there-
also the FOIL officer for Albany County, the Freedom of Information officer.
You personally, or do you have a staff person that does it?
No, I am the FOIL officer, but I have one girl that handles all the FOIL requests that come for Albany County.
Okay.
So this year, we're up to almost 500 FOIL requests.
And mostly
that's
from
just-
the media?
No, you'd be surprised about the amount of environmental companies that are looking for ground issues. You know, we have to send it to the health department. A lot of correctional facility inmates send us requests about their files that go to the sheriff's department or the court, whichever it is.
And that's the Freedom of Information Law is FOIL,
Correct.
is the acronym.
That's
yeah.
correct, yes.
Okay. So anyway, we're almost out of time. So.
Listen, you're doing a lot of good work, even in less than a year, but we see that you're changing things over, making things a lot better.
And if I can,
Yeah, sure, let's see.
I'd like to give you these guidebooks and a little bit more information
Well,
here.
thank you.
For your
Thank you, I
for your
appreciate
records.
it. You know, it's been very, very informative. Like I say, I'm a regular citizen. You know, you wouldn't think to Albany County would, here you look for Jewish history, where you're gonna go to the Albany County records. So it's, you know, just, I hope the people use your office. I see you're not looking to get rid of work. You're ready to help anybody that they
That's
need
correct.
to. And you should continue with the good work that you're doing and do it with good health.
Rabbi, thank you
success.
so much, and it's a
Much
pleasure to be
success.
with you today.
Okay.